Today's video, we are going to look at how to recreate this cool slider that we do have here. So just taking you through a few of it. So we do have a gallery that is sliding through, and then we do have an image that is sitting in the middle that is acting like a frame for the gallery. So first and foremost, the iPhone image, it's from Figma. I did find the file from this Figma. It's on the community tab, so probably I'm going to leave a link down below to it. You can go and then also copy it for whatever that you want to use it for. Make sure that you adhere to the license that comes with it. Yeah, so that is that, and the next thing is just an image that I did create myself. Where is it? All right, so these images that I did create myself, and I'm using it as the background images for the slider. All right, so that is that, and let's get into trying to create it. You can see that we do have this already created, so I am going to remove this one and then add a new section. Make sure I put it in the middle, and over here when I go into background, I'm just going to make the background color black. All right, so that is good. And the next thing I'm going to do is clicking back on that section. So let's call this one gallery, so that we know. So gallery, the gallery section. I am going to go into layout, make sure that everything is centered, because we need that when we do the iPhone image on top of the gallery. So let's first add the gallery. So gallery. Where's the gallery? I'm just typing gallery. All right, so gallery in here. I am going to remove all these images, and I'm going to add my images. So 1, 2, and then plus this one, which is, so these are the images that I do want. What I'm going to do next is go into, I'm going to remove these light box. I don't want any light box image. I'm going to do full, and then I am going to go into the gallery, the styling. I'm going to remove light box, remove caption, and let me minimize that. I'm going to remove this background thing. Over here for border, I'm going to deal with border radius later. And the layout, I'm going to make sure this is a slider. And when I go into the slider settings, when I go into these settings, I want to remove the arrows, and I also want to remove the pagination. Make sure the pagination is none. All right, so that is all good. We can go back into the setting and then do a few more things, but we are not going to touch that for the moment. Going back into image, slider images, aspect ratio, I'm going to make this custom. So we do have something like this. So like the full width of the image that we did add to the gallery. All right, so that is the first thing that we have done. The next thing that we are going to do is to impose the iPhone image on top of it. So clicking back on our gallery, we're going to go into add, and then we're going to look for image. So added the image down here. Let me scroll down and select that image, click on choose, and there's the iPhone that I want to use. And then I'm going to click on choose again. So we do have this iPhone over here. All right, so in this the frame, clicking back on a gallery section, I'm going to go into spacing, and I'm going to make sure that everything is 0, all around it. All right, you can see that our superimposed image is a bit bigger than the frames for each image over here. So one thing that we can do is that from this section is 1440, and when you divide it, probably using like percentage, everything is like 33%, 33%. So clicking back on our image, what I'm going to do is go into the styling, go into image, and then on the width, I'm going to click here and then put in 33. I'm going to change this one to percentage. So you can see that now this is probably like the same width as each individual image that is going to slide through. I'm going to go back into my gallery, and I'm going to duplicate and drag down, also duplicate this, and then drag down, and then duplicate that, and then also drag it all the way to the back, so that we do have like 6 images rather than just 3. All right, so this is good. The next thing I'm going to do is click back on here. I'm going to change the name to iPhone, and then I'm going to go into these cog icon advanced thing, and I'm going to type into, you don't even have to come here, you can just come down here and then type in position, and click on this cog icon down here, and then make sure that this is absolute. So when you do absolute, you can see that your image looks like this. We are going to fix it later on. Just give me a second. All right. The next thing I'm going to do is do index. Right. So index, make sure that image is coming on top of the gallery images. So index, I'm going to do something like a 4, so that image is now in the front. Next thing I'm going to do is go back into the gallery, go into styling, and then slider images. I'm going to click on here, and then here you can make like a height. Let's try something like 1,000. So 1,000 seems a bit too long, so I'm going to just bring it down a little to like something like here. So if you remember, I said we were going to deal with the radius, so let's try dealing with that. So going back into, we are selecting the gallery. I'm going to go into images, and over here we do have settings for border. So I'm going to click here, and I'm going to keep the border radius like 70 pixels. All right, so that is good, but we can see that our iPhone image is a bit not too big for what we want. So I'm just going to keep that is 34. All right, so let me go back into our gallery and then go into the slider image, and I'm just going to make this a bit more longer so that it can fit what we do want over here. All right, so I do think this works perfectly, and let me just save it. All right, so one thing, the next thing we're going to do is try and preview this in the front and see how it looks and feel, right? So saved, and then I'm going to just do like that. Let me close all of this, and then let me just do like this. All right, so we do have this. It looks good. So going back into our development panel. So over here on the gallery, we're going to go into slider, and here we are just going to make a few more changes so that this one can slide through smoothly. So effect, we're just going to leave it as it is. We're not going to touch it. Infinite, so we want infinite to be enabled. We want this to be centered, and also we want autoplay to be also enabled. And when we go into autoplay settings, if you want to make any other interactions like stop on interaction or pause, you can do this if you do want. And when you go into advanced, you want to change the number of images here, you can also do that. And yeah, and that is it. And you can come over here and then just refresh again. So I'm just waiting for so now you can see that they're sliding through. The next thing that we want to do is to make sure that these two images on the left and right, they are absolutely like let's say covered, or the opacity is 0. To do that, we have to go into the advanced mode and then find a class that we can use to do that. But when you go into advanced mode, it's a bit too tedious, so I'm going to give you the classes that I used to do that. Going back in here, you do want so we do need a class for the so clicking back on the gallery, so this is the swiper, so we can target this using the swiper classes. So I'm just going to select everything over here. If you just wanted to apply to this gallery, you can leave the selector there, and I'm going to add the swiper class. So this is the swiper class. The next thing that we want to do is to make sure that the opacity is 0. So don't worry, we're going to fix it. Opacity is 0, and then we can also do transition so that it is smooth. So you can say transition, and then you can say that we want opacity transition to be 0. Let's say 3 seconds, and then we can use an ease like that, and we can just close it. All right, so that is the first thing. Let's save that. The next thing that we want to do is that we want the middle one, which is the active one, the swiper class that has active included in it. We want it to be visible. So to do that, we can just select everything here and then come down and then make sure that we do have the class active. And then over here we can say opacity, we want it to be 1. So now you can see that it just showed up. Now let's save that, and we can remove any transition here, which is fine. And let's come to the front, and then we can just refresh again. So now you can see that everything on the left and right is now taken out. Only this one is over there. I don't know why it is not sliding through. All right, it's taking a minute to slide through. I don't know why. All right, but the clicking back gallery, making sure going to the slider settings. Oh, I'm hovering over it, that's why. Let me remove this and then save it again and come over here, and I'm just going to refresh, and I think it should work now. All right, so you can see that now it is working, but you see when you click over here, nothing works, because now we've made sure that when you click, nothing works. Like you won't be able to select any of the images when it comes to like previewing them bigger. So if you were looking to make something like this, or trying to make like anything that has this kind of effect, this is how you do it. And you can talk about like it being responsive and other stuff like that. For responsiveness, you might want to take a bit of time, like to go through the other modes. You can see that now the image is a bit longer than usual, so you can come into the slider, and over here let's start with, let's say 800, and I think 800 is good. And then for 800 we can come back into border, and for radius we can say, let's say 60 pixels, and we can bring it down to make sure that, all right, so we do have this for like let's say for tablets and other stuff like that. So we can do this, and then you can just keep going through all the other breakpoints to make sure that everything works for you as you do one. So this is how you create this cool iPhone with image and gallery effect if you want to do that. Hope you learned something, and if you did like the video, you can give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, you can also subscribe. And Black Friday for More Blocks is coming. We are going to have 35% off, and I'm also probably going to leave this inside the pro version for More Blocks, so you'll be able to copy it for your own development. The name is Nyakon. I'm gonna catch you on the next one.